No. Is that Kush saying crash at Cop's Corner? Well, I'll keep a good eye on you, mate. How about that? As soon as I ride on board with you, as soon as we go through Cops, I expect a nice big accident. Oh, man. Anyway, the stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of the PS4 Tier 1 Pacific Series on Race Spec Esports. It's time for the British Grand Prix here at the Grand Prix circuit, a 5.89 kilometre, 18 turn racetrack. This former RAF airfield turned into one of the most legendary racetracks, and not only but in the world. It has hosted Grand Prix racing ever since Formula 1 was a thing. It hosted the first ever Formula 1 Grand Prix all the way back in 1950. It's gone under quite a few different layouts over its time, but this current layout provides a nice opportunity for drivers to overtake at certain sections, but you've got sort of that traditional follow the leader stuff tossed in there as well. Most notably, the most obvious overtaking spot on the racetrack is probably turn 6 at the end of the Wellington Straight heading into Brooklands, and we'll see some overtaking at turn number 15 at Stowe after the DRS zone on the Hangar Straight. Generally speaking, this is a track that a lot of people know incredibly well. In season pass, we use this track as a testing ground to see where we allocate drivers into their respective tiers. So these guys will know this track inside out. They'll know where to push, where to hold back. So I imagine qualifying will be quite competitive. Dry conditions as well. A few a few clouds overhead, but no obvious sign of rain at this stage. I think the first driver will be on a fly. Is that... no, it's not Isaac Kush. No, it is Isaac Kush. Well, the man said in the Discord, crash at Cop's Corner, winky face. So we'll keep an eye on this man. He finished second in the first race at Austria, crossed the line in first place. He's an exceptionally quick racing driver. Down the Hamilton Straight, the newly dubbed Hamilton Straight, into Abbey, which is turn 1, then turn 2, absolutely flat out in these conditions. Then into Village, then into the Loop, which is turn 4, second gear at the apex, short shifts to third, then coming through Aintree, named by one of the racetracks that has actually hosted a British Grand Prix, one of 3 racetracks to have hosted a British Grand Prix in Formula 1, round Brooklands, then into Luffield. This used to be a double right-hander, but now it's one singular right-hander. Very important to get a good exit out of here to maximize the straight line speed down the old pit straight, heading into Cop's Corner. Oh, dearie me, he's not going to crash. He kept it very nice and tidy through there. Now through the most famous part of Silverstone, Maggots, Beckett's, and then into Chapel, 6th gear. And coming out of Chapel, opens DRS and down the Hangar Straight, heading towards Stowe. We see a fair amount of overtaking here. Some drivers going down the inside and sometimes around the outside. Going around the outside is very much a viable option. Into the Vale Chicane. A nice little overtaking opportunity, if you dare, unless you're Sebastian Vettel. I'm sure people remember that quite well. Around Club Corner and across the line to set a 1 minute 24.050. Swagger goes second with the 24.2. Few more drivers are coming around the third sector. 4D does a 1 minute 24.4. Spilly a 24.6. GeForce Walkboy. We'll keep an eye on this guy. Polish Sniper Polish Sniper going back to the Americas here. Polish Gorilla P7 currently with a 25.2. Finn Kelly a 25 flat. Zach Crichton jumps to the top of the table with a 23.9. As Walkboy does a 24.3, as I expected. Quite competitive already. Lot of drivers in the 24s. One Slick Mofo rounding the final corner, crossing the line. 24.8 puts him P9 just behind his teammate Leo. So LJB heading down the hangar straight. There's Alfa Romeo just in front. Some yellow flags cropping up here and there. Drivers just trying to get out of the way. Drivers have to be quite careful at Stowe. I remember there was a steward's report prior to this race weekend. Drivers have to be very, very careful at the exit of Stowe Corner. In previous games, you could take serious advantage of the track limits at the exit of turn 15. Now, not so much, but I think there is still some sort of exploit there. So that will be an area that will be looked at by the stewards. But most of the drivers have completed their first flying laps. Look at the leaderboard. From second all the way down to 12th place. All of them separated by less than 1 second. Around what I've actually learned today is the third longest racetrack on the calendar. The only two racetracks that are longer, Baku and Spa-Francorchamps. This is actually the third longest racetrack. And to see the field this closely bunched together, it's fantastic to see. Plev's on a flying lap. Invalidated, unfortunately, so we'll look away just for now. G-Force Giannis, this man won Austria a week prior due to penalty. I'm not actually sure if Isaac Kush managed to remove any warnings to try and reclaim the win, but to my knowledge, Giannis did claim victory at Austria. So this guy will be very interesting to watch on his flying lap. We'll go to G4 though. This man finished third at Spielberg. We'll see what he can do here at Silverstone. So through turns 1 and 2, absolutely flat out in these conditions, not so much in the wet. Those corners become incredibly terrifying in wet conditions. Around the loop. Now through Aintree and down the Wellington Straight. DRS open, climbing through the gears. Now into Brooklands. Braking at the 50 board, 4th gear. Now into Luffield, very narrow entry there. Short shift to 4th on the exit to minimise wheel spin. Through Woodcote, down the old pitch straight and into Copse Corner, which if taken correctly should be absolutely flat. It is. Not in the wet. That is probably the most terrifying corner in wet conditions on the calendar, I should boldly say. Super duper easy to lose it. And the tyre barriers are more than welcoming if you do lose it. Heading now up to Stowe. 6th gear. Takes it beautifully through there. Oh, millimetres away, I reckon, from going over the white line, through the Vale chicane, around Club Corner, up to the line, 1 minute 24.294, jumps to 4th place overall with exactly 10 minutes remaining. That's very nice. Now Mr. Giannis, what can he do? Coming up to the 2nd sector split, down the hangar straight. See, they're sticking to the left-hand side, planning to open up Stowe as much as he humanly can. Carries a lot of speed, invalidates. Those are the sort of limits you are working with at Stowe Corner. Just pushed a little bit too hard, and in his frustration speeds into the pit lane. G4 Swaggy up by half a second at the 1st sector split. Round Copse Corner. He's got a bit of traffic. Who was that? That was Polish Gorilla. Around Chapel and onto the hangar straight. Let's have a look at his sector 2 time. He's up by 1/10.5. If he can really nail this 3rd sector, he might be able to crack into the 23s. Around Stowe. Now into Vale, hard on the brakes. 4th gear, keeps it in 4th. Interesting. That's not a technique that I've seen used through there. But it was very clean and very fast. And look at that, jumps up to pole. 1 minute 23.969. He's only just got it though, a bit over 200ths of a second separating the top 2. Speaking of which, Zach on a flyer. He's purple to the 2nd sector, but down overall, heading towards Stowe. 8th gear down to 6. Really nails it through there, not abusing the track limits. Then into Vale, locking up but not losing momentum. This is more traditional, using third, then short shifting to fourth, around the final corner, crossing the line. He retakes pole, 1 minute 23.894. Beats Swaggy's time by 700ths of a second. Zach Koch purple to the first sector, around Luffield. Using all of the curb on the outside, really pushing the limits, and using that little bit of tarmac on the inside of Woodcote through Cop's corner. Look at that, millimetre perfect. Now, Maggots, Beckett's. Absolutely flat out now into Chapel. 6th gear. Using a bit of the grass on the outside, and he's up by 0.2 of a second. With that kind of pace, he is definitely taking pole away from Zach. Round Stowe. Does a very nice job. Doesn't invalidate. Into Vale. And into Club Corner. It's a 1 minute 23.8 exactly. Beats Zach by 1/10 of a second. Now, let's see. Ford not on a lap. Who's on a lap? Mr. Mount is just about to start one, it seems. The Williams driver currently 9th place with a 24.3. If he improves by 1/10 of a second, he'll jump up to P6, demonstrating how close the field is at the moment. Got a very interesting helmet design. Can I get an off-board view of that? It's like a comic book design, I can't quite tell. Now down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands. See him use the curve on the outside, try and open up Brooklands as much as he can. And you see there quite a common thing with these really quick drivers. They stay to the inside coming in to Luffield. They don't try and swing out wide to try and open up Luffield as much as they can. They sort of stay narrow and hug the inside. Floor it on the exit. Now through Chapel. Let's have a look at his Sector 2 split. DRS Open. He's up by 0.2 of a second. Continues with that. He might be up towards the top 3. He still has one sector to get right. Round Stowe. He gets that right. Now 3 corners remaining. The Vale chicane and then Club Corner. Very nice through there. Very smooth. Up and towards the line, it's a 24.039, jumps to 4th, not quite in the top 3. Now we just have over 5 minutes remaining as GeForce Giannis jumps up, I believe, to P6. I believe that was the driver who just jumped up then. Aaron, about to go on a flyer, LJB as well, so LJB on an in-lap. OP Magic, what are you up to? He has invalidated, so we'll go back to Mr. Aaron, shall we? Around the loop through Aintree onto the Wellington Straight. Let's have a look. Sector 1 says up by 300ths, excuse me, of a second. Oh, locking up a little bit there through Luffield. I've lost him too much time. We also have Plebs on the flying lap, I've just noticed, so we might have a gaze of what he's doing just as soon as Aaron goes through Cop's corner. Very nice through there, hitting his marks. Now what about Plebs? He is yet to invalidate. He's up by almost 0.4 of a second, so he's planning to crack into the 24s as well. That'll gain him a few positions. Then we'll just go back to Aaron once Pleb says, oh, he's decided to go in, so we'll go back to Aaron. And he's invalidated through the S's in the 2nd sector. Quite easy to do, really. It's something that drivers will have to look out for in this race. Just pushing the limits a bit too far and gathering warnings. Giannis into the pits. Swaggy on a flyer, question mark? He must be. And he's up by 0.5 of a second. I just wonder. No, he's switched it off. See there, ERS mode 0. He'll be going back into the pits, I'm certain. Yep, I thought as much. This is something that the drivers will have to look out for as well. It's a 60 km/h pit lane. It's very, very slow here at Silverstone. Super easy to go in there too hot and grab yourself a 5-second time penalty. So that'll be another thing that the drivers most definitely will have to look out for. As we can see, most of the drivers on soft tyres, from my experience from but a few minutes ago in the Tier 3 race, the soft to medium strat is the way to go. But if you're confident in your own speed, confident in your own ability, then the medium to soft strategy is that much better. That second stint on the soft tyre with a lighter car is extremely fast, but you need to make that medium stint right at the beginning work. If you don't, you'll get swallowed up by the pack. You'll have a very, very hard time recovering positions. So with 2 minutes left, this will be everyone's final flying lap. You can see them all pouring out of the pit lane, and this is something that Spilly will most likely have to deal with on his flying lap. He's put himself into a somewhat awkward position where he will most likely face some drivers on out laps that may slow him down. Let's see what he can do though. Crossing the line to begin his lap. He's got to beat a 24.271. That's his current personal best. To move up the leaderboard, he only has to improve by 1/100th of a second. Incredibly close. But the time to beat is a 1 minute 23.799 set by Isaac Kush. See if anyone can snag pole position. Spilly, he's up by 0.5 of a second through the first sector. He's coming up to the traffic now. The car in front is a Renault. It's GeForce Aaron, and he gets out of the way. Very courteous of him. Now coming towards Cop's Corner. Absolutely flat out through here. Takes it very well. There's a car in front. That's Swaggy. He deals with him very well as well. Through the high-speed S's. Luckily there's no traffic in front, so no dirty air. Does he improve? He does, only a little bit though. Less than 1/10 of a second. And here comes the worst part of this. He's going to be held up monumental. Oh, and crash! Oh no, oh no! Mr. Mount and Spilly have come together, and that is a 5 grid place penalty for the Racing Point driver. Oh no! What a catastrophic accident that was. Oh, and Wogboy sideways. I saw that there. He was monumentally sideways, going through Maggots and Beckett's. Managed to save it though, but his qualifying is done. Let's have a look at the top of the table. Mr. Mount will not be improving, surely. We'll keep an eye on him though, but these guys are probably the ones to watch. Where's Izzat? He's going through Aintree. Crichton's going through Luffield. What about Swaggy? He's going through Aintree right now, so Zach will be the first driver to set a flying lap out of the top 3. 40. He is invalidated. What about GeForce Giannis? Where is he? He's going through Luffield. Tell you what, we'll keep an eye on Crichton for now. Through the high-speed S's. This kid is a freak. He will absolutely throw it into corners and it just sticks. And he's up by 0.5. He needs to find more time though, if he wants to snag pole position away from Izzat. Through Stowe, throwing it in there. Not abusing the track limits as much as I thought he would. Into Vale. Very nice through that sideways though. Oh no, that's time done, and in his frustration spins the car out. That's qualifying done for Zach Crichton. And Swaggy's invalidated. What about Izzat? He's making his way through the final sector. He will see the stopped or slowly rolling Mercedes crossing the line, and he improves. 1 minute 23.671. Firmly placing himself on pole position. And Mr. Mount crashes in frustration across the start-finish line. But that's his qualifying. Done and dusted. Bit of redemption there for Izzat. The win was taken away from him in Austria, but he puts himself firmly on the front foot here at Silverstone. What a very interesting qualifying session that was. And what a odd incident between Spilly and Mr. Mount at the exit of Stone. And for Spilly, he will be starting in 15th place. But even worse, he'll be starting on the tyres he qualified on, as he qualified in the top 10. So 15th and on scrub soft tyres. It's going to be a very difficult race for him. But the top 10 is at Cush on pole, Crichton alongside him in second, Giannis in third, Swaggy in fourth, Mr. Mount in fifth, Ford in sixth, Leo in seventh, Aaron in eighth, Wogboy in ninth, and Spilly qualifying in 10th, but he'll be starting in 15th, so that will mean Spicy will jump up into the top 10, but he will get a free choice of tyre. We'll go through the other drivers once we get onto the grid, and we'll see what kind of strategy they're going to go with, whether they're going to start on the softs or maybe gamble and start on the medium tyre. Well, that's if it's a dry race. If it's not, then everything I said just gets thrown out the window. So let's have a look. Loading in, bit overcast as you expect in the UK, but no rain, it appears. So this should be hopefully a very, very interesting race. But a full grid, that's very, very good to see. Some very high quality racing drivers around a pretty damn good racetrack that is Silverstone. So, session counter counting down, get to the formation lap, we'll get this race underway. Wow, what an accident that was in qualifying. Actually, I'll take a quick gander at Discord because I'm pretty certain there's bound to be something said. Bye, Gridley. Yeah, it appears that Miss Mount has indeed taken responsibility for that accident. According to the Discord, he's very sorry about what's happened there in qualifying. He probably didn't see Spilly coming at all. And it doesn't help that Jeff, your race engineer, has an IQ of a walnut, and he won't tell you the drivers behind that are on the lap. So you have absolutely no idea whether the driver behind you was on an out lap, an in lap, or on a flying lap. Or, well, he won't even tell you if there is a driver behind you. You have to be constantly looking at your mini-map and keeping an eye on the cars around you all the time. There's a lot of responsibility on the driver that in real life Formula One is typically shared between the driver and the engineering team in the pit lane. But unfortunately we don't get that in this. But looking at tyre strategies, as I mentioned, Spicy qualifying in 11th, starting 10th. He's on the medium tyre. Same with Plebs and One Slick Mofo. They make positions P11 and 12. Old mate Kurt has elected to start on the soft tyre, probably planning to make up a few positions early on. Polish Gorilla on the medium compound, starting from 14th. Spilly, after the 5 grid place penalty, he'll be on scrubbed soft compound tyres. He's got a lot of work to do. His teammate Sorrel JB starting in 16th. Kevin Texas and OP Magic. What's his? What is? Kevin Texas and OP Magic starting 17th and 18th on the medium tyre. Roscoe Arm in 19th on the mediums as well. And Finn Kelly starting from the back of the field, also on the medium compound. So these guys going with the alternate strategy. It'd be interesting to see how those drivers play themselves out in this race. But here we go. Leaders are ready to go. We'll just be waiting on Finn to line respective grid slot, and the 26 laps of this British Grand Prix will be underway. But here we go. Game is saving. We're all ready to go. This should be an absolute banger of the race. We have 5 red lights, and it's lights out. And away we go. Isaac gets a pretty good start. He will lead into turn 1. Giannis is in second. And let's have a look at the turn 1 shenanigans. Is there any incidents going on? Oh, there most certainly is. Mr. Mount. Oh, and into. Oh, dearie me. Luckily, he's ghosted there. That could have been a massive accident. But Mr. Mount and 40 coming together at turns 1 and 2, resulting in both of them dropping down to the very bottom of the leaderboard. Finn, Kelly and Roscoe armed side by side. Dearie me. Oh, hang on, what's going on up here? So LJB and curving Texas, curving around the outside. He'll have the inside into left field. Can he make it stick? He's certainly trying. Sorrell, he'll get the traction on the outside. They're going to be side by side heading towards Cops Corner, and that's not a good thing. I think that curving will back out. No, he hasn't. He keeps his nose there. But ultimately, Sorrell stays in front. Now OP is all over the back of his teammate. Hopefully nothing comes of that. But we do have a lap 1 incident. No safety car though. Everyone else is trying to sort themselves out. Kurt is planning to make an overtake here. Will he get Plebs here into Stone? No, he won't. Stay in 10th place, but what a start. Spicy down the inside of Leo. They make contact at Vale. They make contact again. Oh, side by side. Around Club Corner. The first lap is completed. And here comes Spilly, I believe. He's up to 6th place. What? Oh, and what a spin that is. My word. He completely and utterly lost control of that, Spicy. It's almost as if his Ferrari slipped on a banana peel. It was that abrupt. My word. Contact between Spilly and Leo there at Aintree. Nothing too dangerous though. But yeah, we have the typical lap glitch as you normally get in this F1 2020 game. We have a McLaren and the Haas going side by side. I think that's GeForce Giannis. No, it's not. It must be Plebs battling there. But we can see 2 distinct trains forming. You can see on the mini-map 4, no, that's Isaac Kush is leading one of them. At the end of it is Wogboy. Then we have a second train with Spilly leading, but he's trying to catch up. My word. What an incident that was with Spicy. That was massive. It's almost as if the car just, the grip just disappeared. And when he counter-steered to try and stop the slide, the grip all came back at once. And he spin off into the runoff area on the inside of turn 2. Oh my word. And lap 3. This battle is very much on. Isaac Kush leading the way. Giannis applying a mountain's worth of pressure. Just all over the back of the Alpha Tower. You can see there just sticking his nose in just a little bit. He's tailing his Adam right here, mate. Remember what happened in Austria? We had this nice battle going on. Let's keep it going. He's got DRS. He moves to the inside. At Brooklands, a straightforward move. He takes the lead. But I'm sure Izzat is going to counter-attack very soon. Zach still in 3rd. Swaggy in 4th. Aaron in 5th. But Spilly, what an amazing start from 15th. Let's have a look. How many positions has he gained? 8. He's made the most out of everyone. Giannis has made up 2. Aaron 3. Wogboy 3. Kurt 3. Texas 4. Not a bad start. Finn Kelly up 5. Into the points, as I actually now know that the top 15 score points, like what the MotoGP point system use. So something I learned a little while ago. It allows drivers in that lower midfield to battle for at least something, a little bit of something. Positions 11 through 15 are actually worth something now, which is quite nice. At the moment, these trains have been formed and no real battles happening. They're all close together. But I don't think anyone really is in a position to attack. It was a bit like Austria last week. We had these trains formed, but because everyone had DRS, no one could really attack each other. That's proving to be the same case for tonight's race here at Silverstone. Around Luffield go the leaders. Giannis holding his own, but I'm sure Izzat isn't in a mood to push just yet. You can see that 90% ERS compared to Giannis on 41. Crichton has absolutely dumped his, my word. He's only on 3% right now. He's absolutely dumped it. Swaggy in behind on 60 odd percent. Ready to attack. We'll have a look at what's going on back here, shall we? So it appears as if it's almost all closed up again to form one incredibly long train. We do have this battle back here. Corilla and Scrap, same with Mr. Mount and Finn Kelly. They're going in side by side to the Vale chicane. Finn sends it. It's a very nice move there from Finn. He gets the job done. Ooh, I've just teleported back to Spilly then. Don't know why the game did that. Through the high speed S's. My word, I'm not quite sure where to look. I don't know where the action is going to be. Not with a train this incredibly long. Oh, hello, there's a bit of action there. Who was that? Was that Mr. Mount again? It was. He has spun. I saw that it was a Williams. I wasn't sure if it was Kurt or Mr. Mount. It was definitely Mr. Mount. And he's got a destroyed front wing, I think. Yeah, look at that. He'll probably pit, put on the hard tyre and go to the end, I imagine. That's quite cruel luck there. Curving a 3-second time penalty. So the penalties are coming. Yana still leading the way. Kush is closing in. Zach is applying pressure. And Swaggy is just chilling in 4th place, it seems. Not really making any sort of inroads. But I'm sure he's just happy to stick around this leading pack for as long as he humanly can. Can't afford to make a mistake when the pack is this close. Any penalties you accumulate, any half spins or anything like that, and even damage will be the biggest penalty of the lot. You will lose so much time to these guys. But Izzat on 100% ERS. Is he ready to attack? He switched it into overtake, uses a bit of ERS rather, switches it off. As Mr. Mount has retired from the race, our first retirement, a bit early, I must say. I know you can get frustrated. I can completely understand that feeling, but to be 6 laps into a 26-lap race, you've got to keep digging, because you never know. There might be a safety car that brings you back into the race. And he's left the session, but I can completely understand though. You know, you get frustrated, you don't want to keep racing, just want to get out of there. Izzat has dumped about 30% of his ERS over the course of this lap. He is definitely using it. Just keeping up with Giannis. Currently the McLaren has got the measure of the AlphaTauri. In the background, Aaron in P5. Wogboy in P6, he's got Spilly all over the back of him. Got Leo in 8th place and Plebs in 9th. It's a very nice position for Plebs to be in. And what's going on? We have OP Magic who has spun. He spun at the Vale chicane. He's now well behind the pack. And on the medium tyre, he can't simply get off those and get onto the softs. They won't make it. Very unfortunate to see. Back towards the front. Giannis just doing what he needs to do to hang on to the lead. Now the pit window will come at about lap 11. You can pit earlier, try and get the undercut. And I'm sure a few of these drivers will be thinking about it. I think the undercut window will come in at about lap 9, I reckon. I did a race and I pitted in lap 10, and the tyres easily made it to the end of the race, and they were pretty competitive as Izzat Kush decides to go on the attack down the inside, And he gets him before the breaking point at Stowe. He now retakes the lead. Giannis now has the opportunity to use the DRS, save up a little bit of ERS, and perhaps think of making some sort of counter-attack in the following laps. Not a bad camera angle there, I must say, seeing the cars go... Oh, and one goes wide, and that was Aaron, I believe. Unless that was a lag spike. I'm pretty sure I saw him go wide, but that might have been lag. He seems to have slipped away a little bit from Swaggy. Not too much though. Zach is now putting pressure on Giannis. He can smell the gearbox oil in that McLaren. He was that close. Now coming through Cops Corner. This would be an absolute nightmare in this sort of pack, having to deal with the dirty air through these high-speed bends. You would lose so much time, but you gain it all back using the DRS. You can see there the car was a bit slidey through Beckett's. Drivers using a bit of the grass on the outside of Chapel. See there, Giannis not using any ERS. He's going to save up a whole heap of it. And is that... Oh, did he just bait Giannis there? Oh, they better pull it up. They do. Because Izzat did a bait. He was gesturing that he was going to go in. And it appears that Giannis was going to follow him. Then Izzat said, no, I'm not going into the pits. Fell for my trap. Unless that was a planned stop from the McLaren squad. He will get an undercut on the AlphaTauri. And they're all going to go onto the medium tyre. But Izzat will probably need to box this lap, otherwise he's going to lose a lot of time to Giannis, to Crichton, to Aaron and Swaggy, and even Leo. They'll get a massive undercut, and it looks like they're in clear air as well. And actually Zach has lost a fair amount of time to the McLaren of Giannis. Let's have a look at his, what does he plan to do through the high-speed S's. Currently, he's just steadily building a margin over Wogboy, but how much is he losing? Surely he will pit this lap. Round Stowe. And yes, he will be coming in. Oh, he pulls it up. And here comes Wogboy and then Spilly. You have to be very careful, fellas. 60 kilometers per hour through here. It takes an eternity to go through this pit lane. There's the pit window. 10 to 13 laps on the soft tyre, then come in for a set of mediums. There we go, onto the medium compound he goes. In comes Spilly. He does the same. And where is Giannis? Coming through Vale, into Club. Keep an eye on that dark blue dot as it's leaving the pit lane now. This is going to be close. Get out of the way, pit window. Don't need to see you. And there he is. And he's only just in front. So the one who has actually lost out the most is Zach. He was a lot closer behind the McLaren prior to the pit stops. He's now out of DRS range. And Giannis is on the attack. He actually switches off DRS. He doesn't plan to overtake Izzat just yet. So now Pledge takes the lead with one Slick Mofo in second and Curving Texas in third. He's under attack from the Renault of Polish Gorilla. The high-speed S's, 0.8 of a second is the margin between these two. Unfortunately for the Renault, he's not quite close enough to attack. 3-second time penalty for Finn Cully. Saw the end of it there. He ran quite wide at the exit of Chapel. He's got Spicy, who was gaining on him after his dramatic spin at turn 2. But look at this train. All in a potential winning position. Is that Kush, Giannis, Crichton, Aaron, Swaggy, even Wogboy? As Finn Kelly is out, he has crashed on the pit straight, on the Hamilton straight. How in God's name did he do that? Virtual safety car has been deployed. No one is really in a position to pit. Depends, I guess, how long this virtual safety car lasts, actually. Well, surely it won't last that long to allow the likes of Plebs and One Slick Mofo to pit. Well, nor do I think they want to. I don't think they would want to go onto the hard tyre and try and go to the end, though. Oh. No, I don't think they would do that. Even if they had the chance to, I think they would stay out and pit for soft tyres at the end. DRS has been enabled. We're back under green flag racing. Go back to this, shall we? By far and away the closest battle on track. OP Magic is just in front of this. He's kind of out of sync. He's on 10-lap old mediums. Really a sitting duck. An obstacle, if you will, for these guys. DRS open. Going to use some overtake. It's going to be a very simple move. But now OP will most likely hold up GeForce Giannis through the third sector. OP is not simply going to open the door for the McLaren to get past it. They are fighting genuinely for position. Giannis has got a superb run. And he moves to the inside. And it seems that OP doesn't put up too much of a fight. He understands the battle that he's in. And this isn't it. Fortunately for Giannis, he is still within DRS range. He would have been a bit frustrated if he dropped out of it. Fortunately, he's in it. Now Zach has to try and pass him. Heading into Brooklands. Now Zach, it's in his own interest to try and get it done early. He wouldn't want to follow OP through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. He'll lose time to the top two. And look at that, he's using overtake. He wants this done. OP says, no mate, I'm not letting you past. Into Cobb's corner, sitting right behind the Red Bull, and he's going to have to try and follow OP through these incredibly high speed S's. Losing more and more time to the two in front. He will get him here though. He'll use DRS, use some overtake as well. Oh dearie me, couldn't quite decide where to go there. But he gets it done, and here comes Swaggy and Aaron. Aaron down the inside of Swaggy through Stowe. They're still side by side. This will be a better view. They're heading into Vale Chicane. There's side by side Aaron and OP. Aaron in front now. Oh dearie me, Swaggy is ghosting a little bit there. Around Club corner, using overtake is the Alfa Romeo. Down the inside into turn one, and he gets the job done. OP drops down to 12th place. Now Wogboy will catch up. He'll need to try and pass the Red Bull. Right in behind through Aintree. OP will get DRS, so he won't be as much of a sitting duck on the straights, but through the corners we'll definitely notice it. Wogboy right in behind, carrying a lot more momentum. He'll try and get a better exit through Luffield. Perhaps try and overtake him into Cobb's corner, though it seems that will be a very difficult thing to do. Oh, he's thinking about a Wogboy, but he's not in a good enough position to try and make any move stick. He'll have to sit in behind him like Zach did through Maggots, Beckett's, and then Chapel. What's going on up here? I thought I just saw... Oh, that's what it was. It was just a bit of a lag spike. I thought I saw someone go off. But no, it was just a bit of a lag spike. Giannis and Isaac Kush now side by side, heading out of Stowe. Now towards Vale. Isaac has the inside line. They play very nicely with a great deal of respect. Round Club corner, they're still side by side. Not quite. Giannis takes 7th place. Through Abbey. Then turn 2. Into Village. Then into the loop. Very important corner. You need to get a good exit out of here. Swaggy and Aaron are still scrapping out. Their battle is for 10th place, and now OP has got Spilly right in behind. And Wogboy, who was actually dropped behind Spilly. He must have made a mistake I didn't catch. These two properly jousting out for the lead. But there's been no contact between the two. There's been a great deal of respect. A lot of skill, a lot of sportsmanship between these two. And Zach isn't too far behind, 8/10. Now Aaron's under attack from Spilly, according to the leaderboard. Wogboy now on the attack. He's going to go round the long way at Stowe. He needs to be brave. He is brave. He's on the racing line and gets it done. A fine move. Gets around OP and into 13th. And his battle with the likes of Spilly and Aaron can resume. Spicy into the pits. Onto the soft tyre. He's going to plan to do... That's 12 laps on that tyre. It's a bit of a long stint, but it's doable. These guys still scrapping it out. Plebs is still our leader. A 5-second margin over One Slick Mofo. But they've got to make a stop. Go onto the soft tyre and go to the end. They'll be incredibly quick. But they have to do a lot of work. Try and make up positions. This is the effective battle for the lead. Giannis, Isaac Kush, Zach Crichton is only a few tenths of a second behind Isaac now. No penalties between these three either. It's going to be a genuine dogfight, I reckon, between these guys. It's going to be a race of margins as well. You can't afford to make a mistake. Can't afford to get a penalty. If you do, it's race over. Plebs and Mofo into the pits. They're going to go onto the soft tyre and go to the end. Curving stays out. Same with Polish Gorilla. See there, Kush using a bit of ERS. Try and keep Crichton at bay, who is weaving left and right, filling the mirrors of the AlphaTauri. And I reckon Zach might have a crack at one point. He's looking incredibly racy. Round entry. DRS open. Doesn't get the best of exits there. Kush got a fantastic one. So Plebs is now in 14th place. One Slick Mofo in 15th. They've got a fair amount of work to do, but they're currently in the points, which is the main thing. These guys having a scrap of their own. Very close together, ready to battle. Just behind that we have another battle. Kurt, OP and Leo, very close together. Pleb's not too far behind on the soft tyre. He will be immensely quicker compared to the trio in front. But he can't muck around, he can't be complacent. He will need to be authoritative with his moves. Can't afford to dawdle behind these guys. As down the inside goes Leo, can't get it done. Leo all over the back of the Red Bull, contact maybe. Oh, and Leo spins, I think he had contact from Plebs there, and that's a reset to circuit as well. That will be looked at by the stewards. Mofo held up a little bit there from his teammate. Very illegal thing to do. Zach in a great position, but doesn't quite have the resources to attack just yet. Giannis is holding his ground and then some. He's got a half-second lead over Izzat. Oh, and Izzat makes a mistake, a teeny-weeny one. He opened the door ever so briefly for Zach. Fortunately, he was just in front enough to hold on to 5th place. Uh-oh. Aaron has jumped out of the session. P8. He's going to lose a fair amount of time because of this. Here comes Spilly. Spilly will now jump up. Polish Gorilla 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Typical sight. And in the pit lane go the top three. So this is it. This is the battle for the win. 9 laps to go. 3 cars, less than a second separate them. Swaggy isn't too far behind, but he's got a fair amount of work to do to try and close up to these 3. He also has a penalty next to his name. Spilly, now in 5th place. I have a feeling that he might get driver of the day if he stays in that position. Actually, he might gain a position because of the penalty that Swaggy has. Flev's now into 7th place as Aaron is still not quite just yet in his car. And now down to 9th. That's incredibly infuriating for him. As Izzat is all over the back of the McLaren through the S's of Maggots and Beckett's. Now Chapel and on to the Wellington Straight. Sorry, the Hangar Straight. Yeah, me. Zach isn't quite close enough to attack, and Izzat isn't planning to attack just yet. There we go, he's in his car now. When the leaderboard does that, it means that the driver who just joined the lobby has finally gotten into his car, and it just needs a little while for the leaderboard to sort itself out. This is it. Oh, I have absolutely no idea how this is going to pan out. 8 laps to go. Oh, and Zach is... he is right there. Oh, is he going for it? He does. He's side by side. And he gets the position. No, not just yet. Izzat stays out in front. He should get a better run through here. But Zach isn't going to give up that easily. But Izzat, with that surplus of ERS, stays in front. But no, Zach down the inside. Into 2nd place he goes. Crichton getting his elbows out. He wants this. His next target is the McLaren of GeForce Giannis. This is properly on now. Izzat will now have a good idea of the sort of grounds that these guys are now going to fight on. Zach is willing to push the limits. Is Izzat. This is when gamesmanship comes into it, not sportsmanship. This is where you start racing within the grey areas of the rules. Little bump here, little bump there. Will we see that in the dying laps of this British Grand Prix? Crossing the line, 7 laps to go. Through turn 1. Zach, not quite in the position to attack, neither is Izzat. Right on board. There's Aaron. What's happened to Aaron? He's lost positions. He went off the circuit. He's come back on and in 12th place. That is just rubbing salt into the wound, quite frankly. Oh, he's got not very good internet at the moment. It seems he was jumping all over the place and that's not good. One slick mofo on the back of OP Magic, who is yet to pit. OP, I guess, praying for a safety car, I guess. That's all he is really praying for. Oh, yeah, side by side, bit of contact. And he gets through. Back to the lead, shall we? This is where it's at. And this is all the preparation of the end game battle. These guys will be thinking a number of laps ahead as Zach, he's going on the attack. Giannis defends. Around the outside he goes. But Giannis shuts the door abruptly, but they're still side by side. Heading into the Vale chicane, and Crichton takes the lead. But he's now put himself into an awkward position. He's got the lead, sure. He has no ERS though. He's completely run out of it. These guys have got a surplus of it. So Zach is going to be a bit of a sitting duck on the straights here at Silverstone. 3-second time penalty for Roscoe Arm down the field. We're seeing a few penalties here and there. I don't want to look at the warnings of what these three guys have. I don't want to know. I just want to see the fantastic racing they're going to put on for us. Down the inside, Giannis was thinking about it, I'm sure. Through left field, a bit wide goes Giannis. Gets a decent... And someone has spun, that is Aaron. He is not having a good time right now. He's now dropped outside of the point. Zach trying to desperately break the toe. Through Stowe. Oh, and cutting a bit too much there. Just a little bit too much. That might have been a warning for Izzat. Just a small miscalculation there. Turning in a little bit too early. Through the S's. Through Chapel. And this is where Giannis is going to launch a full-on assault, I'm sure. Zach weaving a little bit. Trying to break the toe. Oh, no. He's not quite close enough to attack, is he? See how close he gets into Stowe. He's not quite close enough to attack. Still, there is plenty of racing left. This is not over. It is nowhere near over. And don't forget, we have this guy and Smelly not too far behind. All it takes is one of those three to have a colossal error, then suddenly it blows the race wide open for these guys back here. Same with Wogboy, only 1.6 seconds behind. OP Magic finally makes his pit stop. He's going to go onto the soft tyres. Maybe aim for a fastest lap. He'll like that. Zach still holding on to the lead. Weaving left and right. You can see there, look at that, 40-odd% of ERS. He is saving up. Giannis, he's got 30-odd%. Zach has got 16. He's got a little bit in his back pocket now. Through Luffield. Into Woodcote. And Swaggy's now within a second. He's introduced himself to the party. Polished Gorilla is out. He's crashed at turn 4. Sorrell will give us a good view. There he is there. Virtual safety car deployed. That's put a halt on proceedings. It's given us a time to breathe. So 3 retirements in this race thus far. Is there one last twist in this tale? Swaggy is 100% in this now. He does have that penalty, but he won't care. He's going to fight for position. Oh, this is going to be good. When will the virtual safety car turn off? There it goes. DRS enabled. Crossing the line now. 4 laps to go. 4 cars, 4 teams. All in a chance to win. And Spilly, a bit of an outside shot, but there's a chance. And a man who got a 5-grid place penalty in qualifying, there might be the slimmest of chances that he could win this OP, a 3-second time penalty. Is that Kush on the attack, is he? Giannis, you can see there, just little defense. Not a lot, just a little bit, covering the inside line at Brooklands. He runs wide. Swaggy not close enough to attack. Through Woodcote. On the old pit straight. Now Cop's corner, this is where Giannis and Kush will lose a little bit of time. Not a lot, but a little bit. Swaggy just dropping back. Now half a second separating the top 3. This is close stuff. Now through Chapel. Needs a good exit. Gets one. DRS open. I think Zach got the best out of the lot. Unfortunately, Izzat's not quite close enough to attack Giannis here. But those are the critical things that Zach has to look out for. The traction zones coming out to Chapel and coming out of Aintree, or the loop really. He needs to nail those traction zones, try and open up as much of a margin as he can to P2 just before the DRS zones. 3 laps. Giannis, does he go for it? Oh, I was thinking he might actually go for it. He doesn't. Giannis will close in a little bit. Look at the ERS, 43%, 13 for Zach. He's running alone. Round left field. Round Woodcut once again. Swaggy's properly in this now. And here comes Giannis. He is all over the back of the Mercedes. He's right there. Maggots, Beckett's, then Chapel. Zach gets a fantastic exit out of Chapel, I must say. It's definitely a strong suit. Oh, yeah, here comes Giannis. He's going to go for this. Down the inside into third, they're side by side. Giannis pushes him. He's still there though. Down the inside goes Zach into Vale. Can't get it done though. Giannis takes the lead with 2 laps to go. But Zach's having none of it. He's going down the inside into turn 1. Not quite. That's millimetre stuff right there. Fantastic driving. Into Village. Then the loop. We saw what Zach was like to Izzat through here. I wouldn't be surprised if he would do the same thing again on the final lap. Well, what's his game plan? He's sitting right behind the McLaren. Is he going to go for a move? The McLaren defends through Brooklands. Into Luffield. He has the inside. Oh, in contact! In spin! Half spun! He catches it! And he's still in the fight! Giannis makes a mistake as well. Runs wide. Effectively nullifying the mistake that Crichton made. Through Cox. They're all line astern. You could barely fit a piece of paper between them. Round Chapel. And now Spilly's only 1 second off this. He'll be loving it. Down the hanger straight. Does Zach go for it? He's got no ERS left. And here comes Swaggy. Down the inside of Izzat for 3rd place. Contact between the two. And off the circuit goes Izzat Kush. Izzat all over the back of the Alfa Romeo now. And Spilly is within a second. So is Pleds. He's in P6 on that soft tyre. So this is it. The final lap. The final 5.89 kilometres of this race. And I have absolutely no idea who's going to win this. Around the loop. Giannis is on the back forward a little bit here. No DRS for the McLaren. The Mercedes gains and gains and gains into Brooklands. Giannis defends. Around the outside goes Zach. Can he make it stick? This didn't work a lap before. They're side by side through Luffield. Now heading towards Woodcote. They're still side by side. Neither driver giving an inch. Giannis hangs on to the lead for now. Zach falls back to second. It's all going to come down to what happens on the hanger straight. Swaggy would want to get involved in all this. Through the high-speed S's, Maggots, Beckett's, and then Chapel. This is it. The race is won or lost here on this very straight, heading towards Stowe for the final time. Can Zach go for it here? But behind the McLaren, nothing separates the two. There's a bit of a gap now. Giannis might claim this. Round Vale. He's not close enough, Zach. Giannis will take victory here at Silverstone. Just, only just. What an unbelievable finish to a race. All it would have taken is one crash, one teeny-weeny mistake, and we would have a completely different result. Giannis wins, Crichton second, Izzat Kush in third, Spilly in 4th place, easily driver of the day. 15th to 4th, that is a superb effort. Plebs in 5th, Wogboy in 6th, Swaggy in 7th. That penalty hurt him big time. Kurt in 8th place, One Slick Mofo in 9th, Curving in 10th, Leo in 11th, 40 in 12th, Aaron recovers to 13th, Spicy in 14th, and Roscoe Arm rounds out the point scorers in 15th, and OP Magic on the wet tyre, having a play around, letting us catch our breath. Wow. That is incredibly close. Gap between 1st to 6th, 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds. 150 kilometers of racing, 26 laps of Silverstone, and the top 6 are separated by bugger all. Fantastic. So he has a bit of a spin. Ah, oh, dearie me. But that is win number 2 from 2 for GeForce Giannis. As OP goes across the line sideways there. Ah, there we go. And that is a no-brainer. Spilly, well done. A superb recovery from a 5 grid place penalty to come back to finish inside the top 5. Finishing 4th, making up 11 positions, just missing out on the podium. Absolutely superb driving there. Podium celebrations here at Silverstone. And it's the second win for GeForce Giannis. Zach put up one hell of a fight. Unfortunately, he wasn't quite close enough in the areas where it mattered. Isaac Kush, he was there. Oh, that's a bit nice that the fuel shot goes low just then. Is that he was there, constantly there in the top 3. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite overtake the 2 in front, but he gets a superb podium. There we go. That was the top 3. Spilly in 4th place. Congratulations, sir. Great drive to recover that many positions. Plebs finishes 5th with fastest lap. A good drive from him from 11th to finish 5th. Logboy making up positions to finish 6th. Swaggy in 7th. He'd be gutted with that, I'm sure. That 3-second penalty really hurt. Old mate Kurt in 8th place, making up 5 positions. One Slick Mofo making up 3 in 10th. 7 for Curving Texas, finishing inside the top 10. Leo in 11th. 40 in 12th. Aaron, he'd be very disappointed. Finishing 13th. It was looking like a solid race for him, but unfortunately him dropping out really hurt him. But luckily he finishes in the points. Spicy in 14th. And Roscoe Aaron rounds out the point scorers in 15th. Huh. Good fun. Good fun. There we go. That will end what has been a superb second round at Silverstone. Both Austria and Silverstone really sort of giving us a good idea of what this championship is going to be like. We've had very good racing in Austria, and now this at Silverstone. An incredibly close finish. Almost anyone could have taken that win. Giannis, some good defensive driving at Brooklands, and he managed to hang on, only just hang on. But next week, what is next week? We have Silverstone, and then we have Canada. Now, in real life, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is easily one of the best racetracks in the world, for sure. No idea why, but it has an incredible ability to beat some of the best racing that Formula One has ever watched. Probably the most notable of which was the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix with Jenson Button's superb drive after, what was it, 5 pit lane tours, and he still managed to win, overtaking Sebastian Vettel on the final lap. In the virtual world, sometimes a bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes you get really good racing and sometimes you don't. I know some drivers aren't a massive fan of the racetrack due to the fact it's incredibly easy to accumulate penalties, most notably at the infamous Wall of Champions chicane at the end of the racetrack. Track limits there, quite brutal for sure. But hopefully this sort of racing that we're seeing will continue on from the first 2 rounds to the 3rd round at Canada, because this is turning out to be some awesome racing to watch. Very awesome stuff. Absolutely fantastic. It's not quite over at Silverstone. In about 12 or so hours time we'll have the Americas tier race, which should be good to watch. And of course at the end of the week we'll have the Race Spec F1 tiers, which will also be equally be interesting to watch. Maybe we'll see a bit of that classic English wet weather, who knows. But until next time, until next week, I've been the Smeg. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time for the Canadian Grand Prix at the legendary Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Until then, good night.